brought to you by VillainousJewelry.com, link in the pinned comment below. It's that time of year again, and what better way to enjoy the season than by grabbing a tea or some coffee and sitting back as we check out the supervillain's coziest songs. But before we continue, according to YouTube, over 90% of you guys are not subscribed, so if you enjoy this video, consider subscribing. Similarly to my MF Doom vs Casual listeners video, I've asked you guys what you personally think are the coziest tracks in Doom's discography. But this time I've gone the extra mile and gotten input from across the web, including Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, and of course you guys here on YouTube. And let me tell you, there were a lot of replies to sort through, so if you appreciate my effort, leave a like on this video to show your appreciation. And without further ado, here are the results. In an effort to not bore you guys or myself, I'll be skipping over the songs that were featured in the Casual Listeners video, since I've spoken at length about those songs and I'd like to give some other phenomenal Doom tracks the shine and recognition they deserve. With that filter applied, the list ends up looking like this. 2 songs from Mad Villainy, 1 from Vaudeville Villain, 2 from Food, 1 off Take Me to Your Leader, 2 from Operation Doomsday, 1 from Since I Left You, and 1 entire mixtape.
Now, who will be the first to tell me of a past adventure?
Starting off with the most voted for song, we have Great Day. Easily a top 5 Doom track for me, so obviously I'm glad to see it up here. And immediately off the bat, I can agree 1000% that this is a cozy Doom track. Most of that I believe is due to Madlib's production. The track opens up with this sample from the 1975 show The Streets of San Francisco.
That's the trouble with kids today. What? They don't understand the value of a dollar.
I don't know what it is, but there's something about that tune that makes for such a good intro. I thought it was so fitting that I actually used it as the intro sound for some of my very old videos. The rest of the instrumental is composed of the Stevie Wonder track, How Can You Believe, which Madlib cuts to absolute perfection. This particular part at 1:15 till about 1:40 is particularly blissful. You might think adding vocals on such a great instrumental could easily ruin it, but Doom flows perfectly on this. I'm not sure if it was intentional on Doom's part, but his verses are weaved into the instrumental flawlessly. So much so that if I had to guess, I would assume Madlib went in post-recording and synced Doom's lyrics to his liking. For me personally, this track gives me a cozy, early morning vibe, as I distinctly remember when I was first getting into Doom, looking out the window on a very cloudy, gloomy fall morning, playing this song before having to drag myself to school. But in spite of the weather, listening to this song in the morning would make me feel like it was in fact going to be a great day. One thing that we'll quickly notice throughout this list is just how pivotal an instrumental is for setting a track's atmosphere. And producer King Honey does just that, setting a fitting tone for Viktor, Vaughn, and Pawnee B. This track depicts the relationship between Vic and his cousin's friend's friend, Nikki, detailing their relationship from its hopeful beginnings to its eventual breakup. Can I Watch is a unique song in Doom's catalog, as it's told through the perspective of both characters, using both inner monologue as well as dialogue between the two. There's a few factors that I would say make this song comforting. Of course we have the instrumental, but besides that, the cozy feeling of the track can be attributed to Doom and Pawnee B's performances. The contrast between the masculine and the feminine voices makes for a soothing listen. Furthermore, the first half of the story is a rather sweet and innocent portrayal of adolescent romance, despite how it might have ended.
Stop tap dancing around the conversation.
Why don't you tell him about the time we faced Doom?
All right. Well, as I remember,
Kon Karne is another top 5 Doom track for me, and I can immediately agree that this is in fact a cozy Doom track. I have to point out how amazing this song's instrumental is. The track utilizes the Special Herbs instrumental, Allspice. At first I was having trouble identifying just what made this song so comforting, but after taking the track apart I realized a lot of it is the instrumental. The way Doom flips the Just Ice sample and combines it with the Sade sample makes for a blissful listen. And the way Doom plays off the sample is brilliant. Instead of using his own words, he incorporates the words from the Sade sample as part of his lyrics. Another song that employs this strategy is the track O Train 9 by Boldy James.
Welcome back, fuck you mean, I ain't never left. Lately I've been by myself, shaking down in Commonwealth.
I think it's a clever and artistic technique. If you guys know any more tracks that do this, please let me know. Besides the beautiful instrumentation, I believe the song's warmth can be attributed to the somber subject matter in the lyrics. As Zoom explains at the end of the song, the track is a dedication to his late brother Sub Rock.
I dedicate this mix to Sub Rock, the hip hop Hendrix.
This was actually my first favorite Doom song. OG viewers may remember that this channel used to be named after this track before I renamed it to An Absurd Existence. As such, this song will always hold a special place in my heart. Out of all the songs that were voted for, I noticed The Next Level is to be one of the most consistently mentioned tracks across all platforms. This song is off King Ghidra's Take Me to Your Leader and features no vocal appearances from MF. Instead, the verses are picked up by 3 other artists, Signs of Life aka John Robinson, and ID 4 Winds, both of which you may know off the track Sorcerers. Another track which got a good amount of votes for this list. If you haven't heard that track, I highly recommend it. It's off Robinson's album Who Is This Man? An obscure album that was apparently produced by Metal Fingers. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it was produced by MF himself, or if Robinson simply had Doom's blessing to use the Special Herbs library, similarly to what Master Ace had going on.
We linked at the Montreux Jazz Festival in June of 2011. I actually performed 2 of the songs from that album. They weren't mixed or anything, just because I wanted him to hear the joints, you know, what I was working on. And he came on stage and everything, like he's like rocking on stage while I'm performing the record to his beats.
Regardless, it's a deep cut, and if you really enjoy Next Levels, I can almost guarantee you'll like this project. The third feature on this track is Star, where as many of you know her, Angelica, off the Food track Guinnesses. She also makes an appearance on the track Still Dope, which is probably my favorite feature off Born Like This. Coming back to the song itself, what it lacks in Doom verses, it makes up for by featuring Metal Finger production. The instrumental for the track is called Arrowroot, lifted from Special Herbs Volume 1, a track which I used in my Black Ops 4 rant video almost 5 years ago. It's definitely this jazzy instrumental that gives the song its cozy vibe, and I can see why so many of you voted for it. Don't settle for crappy, mass-produced jewelry from Amazon or Wish. Treat yourself to a quality Doom ring made of sterling silver. Available now at villainousjewelry.com. The 5th track on this list is Mad Villaini's closing track, Rhinestone Cowboy. The song was added in last minute when executives at Stone's Throw insisted on adding another track to the album. And I'm really glad they did, because Rhinestone Cowboy is another one of my favorite Doom tracks, but above that, I totally agree with its placement on this list as a cozy song. Despite the intricacy of his wordplay, Doom delivers the lyrics in such a laid-back manner that gives the song a mellow vibe. And of course we have the instrumental, which sets the tone for the pleasant feel of the song. I can't help but appreciate Madlib's use of Maria Bedagna's vocals. The way he warps and loops it to create this original sound is so creative to me. The song's vibe also bleeds into the music video for me, with the ending bit of Doom picking up and putting on his iconic mask. A perfect closer to an amazing album. Vomitspit, another great track. This one featured on the second half of Food. This one features relentless bars from Doom, wrapped over an instrumental which, as far as I know, isn't featured on any Special Herbs album. The track was originally called Vomit and featured a different instrumental altogether. I mentioned earlier how production choice plays a crucial role in setting a song's atmosphere, and these 2 versions really prove that point, as the original version doesn't even come close to invoking the same cozy vibe as Vomitspit does, at least for me. Besides instrumentals, another trend I picked up on is that many of these songs include nostalgic lyrics. And similarly to somber lyrics, I believe these wistful lyrics correlate to a song's overall coziness.
Nostalgia. It's delicate, but potent.
Red and Gold is the 8th track off Operation Doomsday, told through the lens of King Ghidra. The song recounts Doom's experiences with the typical violence that comes with street life. Yet, despite the brutal lyrics, the song still somehow manages to catch a cozy vibe. I think this is for a couple reasons. For one, as I mentioned earlier, nostalgic lyrics seem to contribute to the song's cozy factor, and this song features a lot of that, with Doom recalling past experiences over the changing seasons. The title Red and Gold obviously refers to the changing color of leaves from summer to autumn, but also serves as a double entendre, referring to red blood over gold jewelry. And of course we have the choice instrumental, courtesy of Metal Fingers. The beat fits the song perfectly. It gives me a fall feel, but I especially like the beat drop or switch up at around the 1 minute mark and the way Doom flows over it.
Glass, I figure, ass hawking, ass titty liquor, last one to walk up in, fast talking city slicker, got that.
This song honestly deserves a dedicated analysis. There's so much going on above and below the surface. A really good and underappreciated Doom track here. Very cozy. Tonight May Have to Last Me All My Life initially appeared on the album Since I Left You by the Avalanches, released in 2000. Since then, the 20th anniversary of the album release featuring a multitude of artists, including a version of this song with MF Doom. This is actually one of my more recently acquired Doom songs, and despite this, I do have a deeper connection with this track, as it was one of the songs that caught my ear while I was reading the manga A Girl by the Shore by Ino Asano, a manga featuring a brutally realistic depiction of a romantic relationship as an adolescent. When I'm reading manga, I like to throw on my entire music library on shuffle, and sometimes, by pure coincidence, a song's lyrics or mood will sync up with the theme of the story. For example, to me, Chainsaw Man Chapter 124 mixes perfectly with Radiohead's Paranoid Android. Coming back to the song itself, Doom talks about spending the night with a girl, over the calming production provided by the Avalanches. According to an interview conducted by Conor Herbert, the verse was acquired after Doom appeared on their sophomore album, Wildflower.
I've got no idea if he knew of us before Wildflower. Unfortunately, we didn't meet him. It was a long process, that Wildflower process, and we just thought it would never happen for years and years, and then eventually it did. When the song came out, he got in touch, which is really unlike him, and said, "That sounds great, I'm so happy with how it turned out, and if you ever want to work on anything else, just let me know." We said, "Well actually, we've got this."
Another entry I saw consistently mentioned throughout all platforms is the Cookin Soul MF Doom Christmas tape. Now, this is an entire mixtape and not a single song, but I think it works all the same. Personally, I'm a sucker for the Christmas season. The season embodies warmth and coziness for me, and this album epitomizes that feeling. I don't usually go out of my way to listen to it since it's just a mashup of pre-existing Doom verses mixed into a holiday-themed project. It's definitely something I throw on in the background during the holidays. The standout track for me is Naughty or Nuts. The Nat King Cole sample on it is so good. Honestly, it's really the samples that make this project for me. And to my surprise, Doom somehow fits perfectly over a remix of Llegó Navidad. It's honestly hilarious how well they go together. And for whatever reason, I really enjoy the closing sample on this track. There's something so crisp about it.
Mouthwash for Christmas? Interesting gift idea.
I thought so.
Tastes icy, clean.
Peppermint.
Why is it blue?
Other than that, I really like the closing track Unhappy. It's a short, jazzy outro, providing a fitting end to the tape. While I remember exactly where I was when I took a liking to the song, I lack any further attachment to the track. For this song, I don't really have any personal anecdotes like I do with Great Day or Kon Karne. Those tracks are tied to cherished memories of my adolescence, which gives the songs an intimate connection for me on a very personal level. However, I think the song is cozy for many of the same reasons Kon Karne is, which I attribute to the somber, borderline depressing subject matter. The way Doom addresses sub-rock in the last verse is extremely sad to say the least. We as the listener are essentially peering into a conversation Doom is having with sub-rock, a message Doom manifested and immortalized on his comeback record Operation Doomsday. This raw display of emotion is as touching as it is sad, and this song to me isn't just a song, it's art at its highest expression. Switching gears, I'd say the instrumental was a perfect choice, and shout out to Curious for his feature on this track. I'm not usually crazy about features on Doom's music, but he definitely tied the song together with grace. In short, a phenomenal track, one of the best in MF Doom's discography. And that's the list. Unlike the casual listeners video, there was a much wider variety in answers for this, more than 3 times the entries, and that's due to how personal the concept of a comfort song could be. What one person considers to be cozy isn't necessarily what another person would consider comforting, so it was fun reading through why some of you consider a particular track cozy. I will say though, as we learned throughout the video, it seems that most quote-unquote cozy songs include a jazzy or spacey instrumental as well as somber and nostalgic wistful lyrics. It's kind of a vague concept, so I don't really blame some people for not understanding what it means. I personally find the whole concept really fascinating. Like, what is it about these qualities that inspires such a feeling? It's an interesting question to me, and I'm glad so many of you feel the same way. If any of you would like to elaborate on what songs you find cozy, let me know in a comment below. I'll be reading through them for the next few weeks. For me personally, a song that gives me a cozy feeling is the 1997 version of Dead Bent. I'll also throw in Dune's verse on Knock Knock. And for those of you who are interested, I'll include the list in a pastebin link with all the submissions collected for this video, as well as the link to a Spotify playlist including all the songs in this video. Thank you to everyone who participated in submitting a song vote, and an even bigger thank you to my patrons and my channel members here on YouTube. Tad Onchi, Bobby Navoa, Jesse Pigal, Jay Murray, The Wingman, Dylan Sanders, Conda, Corazon, Aaron Jones, Fanboy, Hiras Para, Gary Watts, and Khan. Thank you all for your continuous support.